I've always been a big believer in combining exercise with physical exercise with neurofeedback. And very anecdotally, I have observed very powerful results in the people I've used it with. When I have them come for neurofeedback and then run on the spot for 5 minutes and then go back to the neurofeedback, they perform much better. And that got me interesting to see what's happening in the brain. Now, on this PowerPoint I have on the left, it's the eyes open EEG of a 38-year-old female who came looking for my services for anxiety. Mainly what you can see is the beta bursts that are spread out to the front and the back. And, normally when I see this beta burst, I normally see them in people with covert anxiety. On the outside, this type of client looks very calm and collected. But on the inside is where the anxiety takes place. So they're quite insecure and quite self-conscious. They just don't project it outward. And I said, well, I want to try something new with you. I want you to go on this elliptical machine for 45 minutes. I'm going to scan your brain after and see what happens. And that's what you get to the right. And you see the same time period 45 minutes later, and you can see there's a great reduction in the beta spindling. And she reported that her anxiety went down quite significantly. Now, it's not following formal research steps, the formal, the scientific method per se, but it's a good first indication of what exercise does to the brain. And to me, one of the main components of exercise, and it's something Anna mentions a lot in her presentations, is BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is a growth factor that is secreted by the hippocampus. And it's normally triggered by movement, mainly exercise. And BDNF has two main components to it. One is that it fosters neurogenesis. So it will foster the growth of the glia cells, hippocampal glia, which in turn fosters more volume and better functional connectivity in the brain. But more interestingly to me is that it's a cortisol buster. So it neutralizes the effects of cortisol. Now, cortisol is one of those hormones that will go into the brain, and due to its molecular size, will be able to permeate the blood-brain barrier, go into the hippocampus and start killing cells. And when we exercise and we secrete BDNF, we're neutralizing the negative effects of cortisol on the brain. So as you can see, this is just a small sample, but it's a very powerful picture, and I think quite a strong statement of what exercise can do for you. Now, the way I see it is you have somebody come for neurofeedback, they do it for a few minutes, and then you have them do a few minutes of fitness, get the BDNF going. Well, it's gonna enhance the function of the brain to the point that they're gonna benefit from both more in depth. And with Anna, we're thinking, well, how can we take this into the research fields? We're just trying to come up with ideas into how we can turn this into a case study or a case study series that we can later publish just to show.